Hey everyone, this is Ruan Marinho, one of the creators of SplashDash, and since we released the new version of Digital Presence, there's a lot of information on there. So I wanted to spend time to show you how I would interpret this data, how I would use this data, and how I would communicate this data. And don't forget, if you are a free user of SplashDash, you can run up to 25 of these reports per month. So let's get right into it. I'm going to run a fresh one with an existing customer we're currently working with. So to start, I'm logged into the system and you'll see that any reports that we've recently updated will show up in this new category. So I'm going to go ahead and hover over it and I'm going to put in a simple input. This is a business that we've been working with for some time and I'm going to use them as an example. Some businesses have multiple locations. In this case, this business has 3 locations, but I want to get metrics specifically on their Southington, Connecticut location. Once I have my input put in, I'm going to click on the submit button. SplashDash is going to communicate with all of the different integrations that we have. And in a few seconds, we'll get a report that looks like this. We started off by highlighting some of the most important metrics at the top. The reviews, which is really important. The Google Maps score to show you how optimized this business is for maps. Its domain authority. We modified the domain authority for local to show you what's good and what's bad. How many visitors this website's getting organically, where their domain is registered, and the content management system that this business is working with. After working with hundreds and hundreds of businesses since I've started doing this, we're designing SplashDash in a way so that most critical information is directly at the top when you run this report. In this case, those are the metrics that I find are really important when I'm looking at a business's snapshot. As I scroll, I can look into the business's brand mentions. This is extremely helpful for me to get a better understanding of where this business is mentioned and how much. So you can see that I can start looking at some of the links that are already being mentioned here. And these are places that I may want to consider bringing up in conversation or optimizing in the near future. With answer engine optimization becoming more and more important, it's really important to understand where they're being mentioned and optimizing those direct listings. If this is a sales conversation, it's really good for me to know that they're listed in places like the best med spas in CT. It's really good for me to know where their TikTok account is, etc. It's really good for me to be able to optimize their yellow pages and things along those lines. So I'll utilize the brand mentions to keep up to date with how they're being mentioned online. AI engines look at so much more than just the website. So it's important in a quick snapshot that I can see where they're being mentioned so I can optimize for those different listings. As I scroll past mentions, I can see a quick Google Maps audit for their business location. We set it up in a way that made it really simple for you to see what's currently optimized, if it's claimed, if they have photos, what their primary category is, and if that's set, if they have a description, if there's a website link, their address, and a review response. Should there be items that need review, SplashDash will tell you exactly what that is. And really what we're doing is we're analyzing the website and making sure that the name, address, and phone number, these critical SEO components, are visible directly on the page for consistency. The Google Business Profile is the first entryway for a business to get a digital presence. So it's really important that that information is optimized. As I scroll, I get to the customer sentiment, and this section is really quickly going to show me how customers feel about this business. The sentiment analysis chart allows me to see how many times a certain keyword is mentioned in the reviews, but also allows me to do simulations so I can see how many more reviews they need to maintain or increase their star rating. In this case, this customer needs 133 more 5-star reviews to get to a 5.0 rating. If I click the edit button, I can adjust things as needed, and that adjustment will allow me to actually simulate if they start getting bad reviews, etc., so that I can plan for that. You can see in the sentiment analysis table, I can start to see what keywords are mentioned positively, neutrally, or negatively, if there are any. This data allows me to see how customers feel about a business and what words they tend to use when they talk about this business directly through their Google Business Profile. Scrolling down, if I want to actually get more insight into one, I can use this quick table to start to see exactly what people feel and what they said in certain situations, giving me some great marketing ammo. Every business we work with has a website. They have a domain name that people rely on to visit their business and contact them. Domain metrics is something we spend a lot of time on because we need to have a good snapshot of how that domain is performing over time and some of the key details of it. So as we scroll, you'll see the domain metrics section. That gives me some key data. First and foremost, the business's domain authority. We use Moz for this because it is the oldest system on the planet that allows you to view this data. Generally speaking, the higher a domain authority is, the more likely it is to do well in that local marketplace. The spam score means how likely this domain is to be seen as spam by Google and other search engines. On the right side, you can see that we have some key information about the business. Where its domain registrar is, that's important for me to know if I'm going to work with this client to get their domain access so that I can publish their website. The content management system that they're using, so I can talk confidently about them switching over to our content management system if that's the case. When the domain was registered and when it expires. For me, that's important because domain registration is often an indicator of how good a client's going to rank in the search engines. As I scroll, there's a little line graph that you can see that toggles a couple of things. The first is the actual actual two metrics that will allow you to show over time: organic traffic and domain authority, both of the key metrics to indicate a client's success over time. On the right side, you can adjust the actual time frame. So you can do a year, you can do 2 years, you can do 3 years, you can do 6 months. And this will allow you to quickly see how that business is performing over time, with the bottom charts showing you when that business's peak traffic was, when its lowest traffic was, and the average. And over that time frame, how their domain authority has changed over time. So for me, looking at this business, the client we've been working with for over 5 years now, it's good to see that their domain authority is increasing over time, making me feel more confident in delivering them more SEO results. Domain stats are important, but demographics are equally as important because we need to know who this business needs to reach. So in SplashDash, there's a little quick section in this digital presence report that breaks down demographics and that area by generation. So after we look at web analytics, I can quickly see the local demographics summary around the client's area. I can see that millennials make up the largest population in this area, and that there are more females and males, and the towns that SplashDash picked up that were close to this business. This allows me to accurately target and get a better understanding of who are the people that are actually in this area. As I scroll, I can look at a table that's filterable. I can filter by population, highest to lowest, age, highest to lowest, and the largest group, and just get a quick snapshot so I can understand when I start marketing this website, who am I actually addressing? What are the areas that have the most population? So I can plan for things like budgeting, etc. For those of us that are making new websites, or for those of us that are working with existing websites, it's really important to know what the top pages are on that website. We may want to spend more time optimizing top pages rather than pages that are getting low clicks. And that's exactly why we made this top pages section in digital presence. Directly in digital presence, we've built this beautiful section for you to understand what are the top pages on a given website. This will tell us the total amount of indexed pages, the average traffic per page, and the pages, the total amount of pages that get absolutely no traffic. There's a little chart here that shows us that information, so you can actually scroll and see which pages are driving the real results. As we scroll down to the table, you can see filtered which page gets the most visitors. In this case, it's a blog, so I may want to consider optimizing that blog. In this case, it's a location page, so I may want to consider optimizing that. And then you can see all of these different pages getting different amount of traffic, allowing me to prioritize what to optimize and what to leave behind. And you can also see something that I really like doing, which is the total amount of traffic the page represents. So from this case, 43% of this organic traffic comes from this one blog. So that can be a really good indication for me to prioritize or to remove pages if they don't have any traffic. Along with this section are keywords that are driving traffic. What SplashDash is doing here is it's pulling into the Ahrefs database and allowing you to see what keyword phrases this domain shows up for, specifically which ones are highest to lowest, meaning which ones are they already ranking number 1 for, and what are those keyword phrases. I can view the page by just clicking on this little view button so I can see which page is actually ranking for the keyword phrase on the left side. And then I can also see contextual insights, which allows me to see which keywords are in the top 10, which keywords are in the top 50, and which keywords are in the top 2 to 10. In the keyword summary also, I can turn off branded keywords. So if I don't want to see any of the keywords that mention their name, I can quickly turn that off and just look at the keywords that are actually the quote unquote money keywords driving them real traffic. Towards the bottom of the report, I can create a custom link. That public view link I can share with the customer, with my team. I can put that link in ChatGPT and have ChatGPT analyze this report, and this will allow me to actually share this information with somebody that I want to share it with. So as I scroll down, you can see I've gone ahead and turned on the link sharing. I can copy this actual URL, and then anybody that opens that link will be able to automatically see the report, even if they don't have a SplashDash account, without a password needed to open that information. I can also open up ChatGPT, and I can actually go ahead and paste that link directly into GPT like this, and ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever AI system you're using should be able to open that report and analyze the data that's within it. And the cool thing about this is you can do it with multiple reports at once that you generate with SplashDash. There you have it. That's the deep dive on the digital presence report. Remember, if you're a free user, you can run these now. If you're a paid user, you can run much more and all of the other features that are inside of SplashDash. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.